So, I have no idea why you want to persuade people, you dirty little shit, but here's a video on how to get anybody to do anything. Not exactly, but you will learn how to persuade people. And I promise you, by the end of this, you'll have 3 keys on how to persuade people in general. Let's go. So, key number 1, we'll get right into it. Why not? I've never been a guy to bullshit. Is to ask questions. Now, I want you to have childlike curiosity, and it's because people are so unreceptive to requests. So when you tell someone something, or almost you like push a belief onto them or push an order onto them, human nature 101 says they're going to react badly to that. They're going to put their wall up and they're going to say no. So when trying to persuade someone, you never want their guard up. You always want them to feel like you two are on the same side of the table. It's not one-on-one, it's 2 versus the problem, okay? So always ask questions, because if you get good at asking questions, it's the same way as saying something, but they just say it to themselves. So for example, I could tell you, hey, you have a problem with eating too much. That's gonna offend you. And you're gonna be like, whoa, what the fuck, dude? No, I don't, leave me alone, and you're gonna leave. Or I could be like, hey, so are you happy with your diet at the moment? No, I mean, I guess I'm not. Oh, okay, why is that? Because I mean, I'm gaining weight. You're gaining weight, what do you mean? I mean, do you mind me asking how much do you weigh? Yeah, well, I mean, I've gained 30 pounds. Do you see how that's very different? Because you're getting them to go on their own terms. You're guiding them by the hand. You're not forcing them. You're not raping them. You're seducing them. So maintain childlike curiosity and ask questions. Question. That is the key to not only persuasion, but just conversations in general. Questions, if used correctly, can be your biggest asset in communication. Number 2, be authentic and have their genuine best interest in mind. So, I know lots of you will click off on this part because you wanted to use this to manipulate a woman, or you wanted to use this to manipulate your parents or something like that. But persuasion can only be used well, or it can only be effective if used well, because we're humans. We've evolved for survival, and we know when somebody's trying to fuck us over. We know when somebody's trying to play with us. So if you're trying to persuade somebody to do something that doesn't have their best interest in mind, then it's not going to go very well. And sure, it might work on a few people who aren't aware, but it's just a dirty thing to do, and I'm not for it, so I'm not going to teach you how to do that. What I will teach you how to do is how to get people to understand that what you want is what they want. So, for example, let's say that I want my mom's car because I want to take it out and go see my friend. Well, on the surface level, you may be like, Jorge, but I mean, what if she doesn't want to give you her car? You're manipulating her. No, look, if you simply say, hey mom, I'm going to take your car out and I'm going to go see my friend, then she's going to be like, yeah, calm down, you're grounded. But what if you say, hey mom, so I'd love to go get groceries for you, Mother's Day. Honestly, I just want to be able to go see my friend, but I'll get groceries for you. Does that sound fair? Then she's much more likely to say yes, because you've asked, so you've lowered the impact, right? You now are allowing her to make this decision, quote unquote. You're also putting how do I say this? You're also putting a reward, per se. So you're training her to say yes. It sounds horrible, but you're putting a reward. Like if you say yes, you're going to get the groceries delivered to you and you're not going to have to do shit. Does that sound fair? And they're going to weigh their options. They're going to be like, okay, well, yeah, I mean, that does sound fair. Sure, Jorge, take my keys. So you ask questions and you have the best interest in mind. I can give you another example. Like, for example, if you ask a girl out, if you be like, hey, we're going out, a lot of guys will be like, yeah, that's the way to go. And sure, I mean, if you're really charismatic and you're really good looking, it might work. For me, it obviously works. I mean, look at me. But for an average Joe, maybe it won't work. They'll be like, a girl would be like, what the fuck? I didn't even say yes yet. So what you can do is ask questions. Number 1. So, by the way, what food do you like? Oh, I like Chinese food. Have a bit of fun. Chinese food, like yin yang. Okay, I'm probably gonna get canceled. But anyways, I'd be like, hey, by the way, I know this Chinese spot next to my house. I was gonna go. Do you want to come? I can pick you up. What have you done? You've asked questions. You haven't forced her into anything. And number two, now you have her best interest in mind. She likes Chinese food. So do you. You two are getting along. There's a Chinese food spot right next to your house that you were going to go to anyways, and you're willing to pick her up. She's much more likely to say yes. And now for the last one, number 3. The last step is the third one, to control the surroundings. So, for example, a lot of people say, and I got this from Alex Hormozy, so nobody says I'm cheating or I'm copying things, but by the way, copying doesn't exist because it always came from somewhere else. But everybody says you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And so Alex Hormozy said, that's cap. You can lead a horse to water, and I can veritably tell you that it would drink if I put salt in its mouth, if I made it walk for 3 days and dehydrated it, and if I made it look at water as the only thing left to survive, then it would 100% drink water. And so how do you extrapolate this into your own life? Let's go back to let's say, I don't know, what's a good example of this? You have to make sure that them saying yes is in their best interest. So for example, in sales, let's say you sell relationship coaching and you've already asked questions, you've already had their best interest in mind. So you really dig the dagger deep. You're like, okay, so you've been struggling with sex with your wife. She's told you that she wants to open up the relationship and see other men. Is that correct? Okay, gotcha. And this has been going on for 4 years and you've tried nothing to help with this, correct? And this is something you want to solve, and your alternatives to not solving this is her opening up the relationship and fucking other men in front of you. Are you happy with that? No, I'm not happy with that at all. Oh, okay. So, and you feel like the relationship coaching we do here can help, right? Yeah, no, I definitely think. So, I'm curious, what do you feel you need to do in order to make sure that your wife isn't fucking somebody else in front of you 3 months from now? Their only option is to say yes to the relationship coaching, because the alternative is becoming a cuck. Now, you can extrapolate that to any circumstance you want. You'll have to be a bit creative with this. It's not easy. I never said it was. But when you can control all the externals and make them see what you want them to see, so really dig deep the pain and really sell the vacation or the outcome, then they're much more likely to say yes. So it all comes down to how you can communicate that, how perspicacious you are in order to see what you want them to perceive and to be able to connect the dots in order for them to say yes. So those are the 3 tips to persuade someone. Use it at your own liking. Please use it well. Ciao.